like that, I don't want to sound vain, but I feel like that was a pointed joke at me. I hadn't heard any of that before. Earlier today, I had written an intro for this, and I was told not to make any jokes about the earlier segment because it might be ostracizing to I don't want to ostracize like the musicians and the opera element. And then, wow, okay, yeah, just come right at me, okay. That's why it was a secret. Okay, so hi everybody. This is actually quite amazing. So if you don't know, my name's Daniel Brenneman, and I just want to welcome you all here tonight. It's actually pretty incredible. We sold out not only tonight, but tomorrow night as well, which we did not expect, and it was incredible. You can clap for that. Niche night of comedy and opera. Yes, no, it's really incredible. Yeah, I had to drag in a bunch of musty chairs from my basement to like make sure people could sit everywhere because we didn't have enough tennis balls at the bottom of the chairs. So it was really exciting. But anyway, tonight we're going to be welcoming a number of performers up to the stage to share some comedy and stand-up and storytelling with you. But for the time being, you are stuck with me. And so as the night begins, I guess I will say this. Here we go. Being gay is hard. And now I'm not gay, okay? And wow, we're off to a good start. I was so worried about that one. That's like chucking a rock at the audience and being like, please follow. No, and there's nothing wrong with being gay, full stop. And like that air of uncomfortableness right there is because I think you're expecting me to say, but this, or but if you think about this, that, because I told you this is going to be a comedy show, and that's how you would structure a joke. But what you didn't know about me when I walked up here is that I, in fact, am not a comedian. I am a former member of the Wave team. There we go. Not just Cameron Heights, Southern Ontario. That's right. So So the obvious question is, what is WAVE? So WAVE is it's an acronym. W working A against Y youth, V violence, E everywhere. Working against youth violence everywhere. We were a group of preteens who would travel around school to school across the Southern Ontario region, talking to auditoriums full of other preteens about the virtues of like inclusion and acceptance and tolerance, and. Yeah, we were like kind of the cool kids in school. And I know that sounds funny. But like we were the kids who in downtown Kitchener, I went to Cameron Heights, we could just get in a cab and like go an hour away to like meet up in an auditorium and talk to kids. So like, I don't know, we had some power. I don't know. But every year, basically, the facilitators would set us down on like the first day, and we'd have to write down our personal story, like our experience with exclusion and intolerance. And I don't know if you can tell this about me because, I just spent like 4 months planning a night where opera meets comedy. And if you can't tell, if that's not enough of a giveaway, I don't know if you strain your eyes in this light, you might be able to make out the fact that I'm like white. Like life hasn't been too hard on me. Like honestly, I was like, what story do I have to tell? I don't know. Because I really love the people in the group. They were really great friends, but they would write some truly harrowing stuff that I just could not match. They would like all real here. They would talk about, the years of abuse they suffered from their parents, or like their like hospitalizations for like suicide, and like friends who had died, and drugs, and whatever Kitchener Waterloo gangs were. And like I was an untroubled teen. I don't know, that was a real thing, but like it is. But I was just like an untroubled teen who was recommended to join the group by Mrs. Miata Morgan because I was like bored in class. So like, and that doesn't make a good story. So I would think like, what story did I have? And like once, if I think back on it, in middle school, I was shoved to the ground at a long jump pit once by one. But then if I thought about it more, I'd be like, well, it's because I was making fun of him because a girl filed a restraining order to keep him away. And so if I think about it, like I wasn't a bully victim. If anything, I wasn't the victim at all in that situation. That would be the poor girl who had to file a restraining order to keep an 8th grade boy away for whatever he did. Probably worse than knocking her down in a long jump pit. So anyways, I would sit there and I'd think about all the non-hardships I faced and think about all those non-memories would play back in my head. And then this is what I would write in that room. I would write, I've been bullied, lie. by people who would, by other students who would call me gay, which is like true enough, that happened, but it was a little bit of a hyperbole. And this had made me feel very sad. This made me sad in my brain. And I used more words than that, but that was the general idea. And I wrote that story every single year. And after that was out of the way, it was a really awesome time, okay? We got to tour around and we got to talk to people. And in these presentations, we would talk about, LGBTQ issues. And at the time, we would talk about like what those terms meant, because that's where the conversation was, like, I don't know, maybe like 10 years ago now. It's like G means gay level shit, like Sesame Street work. And and we did a really great job. And maybe looking back, we did an incredible job because the culture started to change. If I can remember, I'll take some credit for it. As I said, as a part of the early movement, I will take some credit for it. But if I can remember my time in high school, like at the beginning when I entered high school, like gay was a derogatory word that I should call out, but it was pretty rampant. And by the end, in my senior year, like it wasn't something that really existed in most circles anyway. So I was really happy that this change was taking place. But if you hold your judgment for about maybe 3.5 minutes, it made it kind of weird for me. And not because I didn't want these people to feel loved and accepted. I mean, you may not know this, but you're not just looking at a former member of the Wave team. You are looking at the author of the homophobia rap. Which I wrote in grade 9. And I mean, it hasn't given me any legitimate street credit in any actual community, queer, hood, or otherwise. But actually a teacher came up to me and talked to me about producing it in grade 9. And I think it was because they thought I was gay. And without that, the whole thing kind of carries a little bit less weight. But I got sidetracked. What I'm trying to say is that I've always been confused for being gay. Not that I was confused as to whether or not I was gay. People would just tell me that I was, in fact, gay. And for a time, I don't know. Can you tell? But for a time... For a time, that carried like a lot of negative connotations, even though it didn't truly impact me. And then, as this change happened, it became no longer an insult. In fact, everybody became very, very supportive. I became the supported but closeted gay friend of my peer group. And let me tell you this, the unbridled support I felt from parents of my friends who were, and they let me know, very proud of who I was, subtext, a gay man, was confusing and hilarious and uncomfortable all at the same time. And I mean, it was nice that they took an interest in me at all, but I would have preferred if it was about like my filmmaking or music and not asking their children whether or not I had come out of the closet yet, which is a weird thing to project onto a 14-year-old. And I kind of understand in some regards it. Like I had a faux hawk at the time and I don't know, and I liked having sleepovers with girls, and I had a very close male friendship that everyone was jealous of. But like, it's a weird thing to project onto a 14-year-old. And I mean, I even dated a girl during high school, and everybody still questioned my sexuality in a very kind and caring and dignified way. But I was like, what the heck do I have to do? Like, have sex? No, that's not gonna happen for a long time. But to completely like disregard all the residual issues that probably gave me to do with, I don't know, masculinity, it was a very strange experience. And at a point, I started thinking, maybe it would just be easier to be gay. Which, yeah, you're laughing because it's absurd. That's crazy. For the people in the back, that's crazy talk. That's not true at all. But I started to think like that. I'd be like, why am I not gay? I think very well I should be. Everyone's okay with it, God damn it. Maybe I'm in the wrong. Maybe I'm hiding it. Maybe I should just accept myself as this tight little twink that everyone else knows that I can be. Yes, thank you. And so I don't know. And then I would even test myself a little bit at these points. Like back when I was 14, I would test myself and I'd like sit down and I'd like think about penises and I'd think about like my little boy penis going to a man butt or something. And then I'd take a step back like psychologically and be like, well, what do you feel when you think about this? And I'd just be like, I feel nothing except deep uncomfort at this thought. And then the psychologist's voice would be like, but are you sure? But in hindsight, though, I mean, obviously this is like nothing compared to the actual hard journeys that LGBTQ people faced back then and continue to face to this day. G standing for gay. That's my wave training kicking in. Yeah, and I was friends with someone else who I thought was in the same boat as me, another misjudged, effeminate, straight man who then came out to me in first year of university, and I was really happy for him, but it was another distinct blow to my credibility as not being closeted. Anyway, and in a strange way, this experience really shaped the whole period of my life, and it shaped like how I perceived myself and how I interacted with others. And going back to my original thought, I never did come up with an original story to tell in Wave. And in fact, it was kind of the opposite. I took a real story, a really fucked up story that I heard from other members of the team, being gay and not being accepted for it. And I lived that story through sheer luck and privilege and timing, the only way a straight white man could, meaning that everyone was accepting and loving and super supportive of me. And that's not fair at all. And so when I was writing this piece, I was kind of like, well, I wish I could give that story back to someone who, was actually struggling on the team at the time. And just had grown up without any labels at all. Yeah, so I don't know. That wasn't too bad. I was really worried just with that first kind of rock toss of the whole gay thing that we weren't going to get anywhere. But I'm glad we could kind of move to that point of emotional resolution. And as I said early on in this, I'm not a comedian, so I don't have a really good tag. And even if I did have a really good tag to end this on, I don't know, let's be honest here. The struggles of the gay community is not a joke. Right? Thank you. But I don't know, should I be saying that? I'm not, I don't know. Anyway, so I want to end on the opposite note from that. I want to end on a statement, a resounding statement of equality and an anthem for social progress. Because as I said, I don't want to be remembered up here as a comedian or former member of the Wave team. I'm even wearing this shirt. I forget if I did that. Late reveal here, but I am wearing the shirt, WAYVE. Wave. But yeah, I want to be remembered as the author of the homophobia rap, which I think might be my gift to, I don't know, the world artistically, other than this opera event. So kind of how you would do maybe in church or something, I'm going to leave you with a little quote for you to feast your mind on for the rest of the evening. While these other guys come up here, think about this. This is a quote from the homophobia rap circa 2013 from 14-year-old me. Now I'm in the weight room, pushing my body. My buddy Phil watches and approaches upon me. He lays it out, saying that my muscles are nice and toned. I say thank you, but then he adds no homo. That's homophobia. Yeah, it's not cool to make fun of LGBTQ. Yeah. Homophobia. Thank you, everybody. That was fun. Okay, right on, everybody.